Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing a fountain pen review of this pen. This is the Micarta fountain pen from Gravitas Pens. This is a red linen material based on the Sentry pen model. I think it's a beautiful pen. Really looking forward to showing you this in more detail. Please like, subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. It all helps the channel continue to grow and evolve. In the meantime, let's get started. Okay, let's talk about this pen. So we'll just do a quick parts and features. You've got the typical Gravitas peaked finial there. The cap swells and tapers ever so slightly to that center band. You've got the Gravitas logo there, which looks really great on this micarta material. And we'll just take a quick closer look there at the material. Micarta is a material made by stacking linen on top of each other and infusing it with like a resin or a binder, and then that can be turned or shaped into, in this instance, a pen or something like a knife handle. You can see the fact that it's got like the linen texture in it, but one thing I will say is this material has been handled really well by Gravitas and the manufacturers of the parts of these pens. It's beautiful and smooth, but it's certainly unique. Then there's a little step down onto the barrel. The barrel tapers to that peaked end cap there. It is a twist cap, and it comes off in 2 turns, and it has some of the noisiest threads I've ever experienced. And yes, I know there are things I can do to make that smoother and quieter. I will. But when I review a pen, I like to review it as it comes. I'm not going to do those changes before. Anytime I mention things like noisy threads, people in the comments say this is what you can do, and yes, you can, but that's not how I make these reviews. Anyway, little step down onto the threads. At the end of the threads is a little red O-ring, which I think is great. It ties in beautifully within the color scheme. They're smooth threads, there's no problem with those. You've got this interesting sort of tapered and flared section with these micro grooves on it to stop it becoming slippery, which is great. Also, the metal section, of course, helps not get the pen stained. If the section was micarta as well, it would stain. Micarta does stain. If you get ink on it, it does stain. And then we've got a number 6 steel nib with the Gravitas logo on it there and the plastic feed. It is a standard international cartridge converter, and it comes with a converter, which is great. And there's a nice chunky O-ring there on the end of the threads to make sure the barrel secures down nice and securely. You do have metal on metal threads, which is great, with that metal liner of the pen barrel there. The cap also has a metal liner, so it is metal on metal everywhere. So, things like wearing out shouldn't necessarily be a problem. The micarta pen does post. I don't post it, both because of the size, but also, I don't know if those threads will damage this material, and I don't want to risk it. But it does post. All the pens modeled off the Sentry pen model do post, and post nicely. But yeah, I just don't tend to do it. I think there's a nice balance in this pen. That section weighs quite a lot. Like the balance point is like right leading down to the nib, which is perfect for me. I absolutely love that. That's my absolute ideal. But yes, nice, interesting pen, beautiful shape, simple pen, no clip, no roll stop. So that's going to be an issue for some people. Every time, we post about Gravitas pens, people say it doesn't have a clip, it doesn't have a clip. Yes, but a clip would kind of ruin the lines of this. On the copper entry that I have put a Kaweco clip on that from the Supra clip, and it looks good. So that is an option, and there may be clips you can get that would fit on this model, but I quite like the lines personally without a clip. Like, I really see where Ben was going with this design, and it's been a successful design for him. He's carried that across a bunch of different pen models, so that's really great. Okay, size comparison today. Lamy Safari there, standard, sort of pen comparisons. I've then got the Delrin, which is also based on the Sentry model, so you can see super similar, almost exact measurements. And then I've got the Piston Carbon Black here, which is my current favorite Gravitas pen, which is a little bit bigger, slightly longer, slightly chunkier, and just an all-round astounding pen. So you can see how that fits in alongside those pens capped. uncapped there, once again, similar to the Delrin. And, you know, design similarities there with the Piston Carbon Black, but the Piston Carbon Black obviously has the number 8 size nib, and obviously they are all longer there than the Lamy Safari. And then posted, you can see, it once again comes in about the same. It might be ever so slightly broader there than the Delrin, but in comparison to these other pens, you can see it's not a bad size at all. Time for a writing sample now with the Gravitas Pens Micarta Sentry. And this is the red linen version. This has a number 6 steel nib, and this is a broad, and it's nice. Slightly stubby, it's good. The ink in this is Robert Oster, and this was a exclusive to Pen Chalet, and it is Sidonia Red. I think that's how it's written. Let's do some writing. It doesn't take a sharp eye to notice the biggest issue I have with this pen. It's the skipping and the hard starts. Now, once again, easy fix. 5 minutes of tuning of this nib, a little bit of grind, you know, like smoothing out on some micro mesh and stuff like that. Get rid of the baby's bottom, which is, I'm assuming, is probably the big issue here. Make sure everything is completely lined up. But as I have also said, I review the pens as they come. I don't make the changes then review it. I'll do that for my own collection. I like to show the pens as they come. So if there are any issues like this, I'm not going to be the only one who sees them. And unfortunately, this pen does skip and hard start occasionally. I've tried different inks. I've cleaned the pen, all that kind of stuff. But the only thing I haven't done is smoothed out that nib, and that will be 5 minutes of work. And I know that. But not everyone wants to do that. And this is what I have found with my pen. When it writes exceptionally smooth. Like, it is gloriously smooth, and it's nicely wet, you know, like it's not the wettest ink going around, and it writes beautifully wet, although I do think it is a awesome match for that material. Reverse writing, it's actually more reliable in reverse than it is down, which is often a trait with a baby's bottom nib. Flex, not so much. It's pretty stiff, and I wouldn't want to sort of do too much to this nib either. Quick writing. As we would expect, given the slight issues. Now, as I said, I have used a lot of Gravitas pens over the years. I haven't had problems with any of the nibs. This is the first one where I've had these issues, and this issue in the scheme of things is such an easy fix. Like, genuinely, 5 minutes of work on this nib and it is going to be spectacular. I'm so lucky that things like my Delrin and the Piston Carbon Black are sensational writers. This pen will be a sensational writer with just a small amount of work. But this is how it came. So, great pen, beautifully smooth nib, probably too smooth, easy fix, if that is something that you're willing to do. So the Micarta Sentry from Gravitas Pens, here in the red linen, retails for €120. Not an inexpensive pen. Interesting material, beautifully made, all of that, but not an inexpensive pen. So keep that in mind. Obviously, I suggest everyone goes to Pen Venture to get their pens. If you don't want to be tuning nibs, Emmy will look after you. Emmy is amazing there. Pen Venture taking care of the business side of Gravitas, allowing Ben to really concentrate on designing and all that, which, this is an older model. This isn't a new model from them. It's just beautiful. But yes, €120, so keep that in mind. Pros and cons. Okay, I'm going to start with the neutral, and that is the micro threads on the section. That is not going to be everyone's flavor. I like it. It feels good in my fingers. Like, my fingers don't move around on it. I'm used to those grooves. I don't mind the tactile experience under my fingers, but you can feel them ever so slightly. They're very micro, but they do their job of keeping the pen from being slippery, which is the point of them. So that's a pro or a con depending on you. My two cons for this pen are, firstly, the threads being crunchy and noisy. Like, once again, I can fix that. I know that. But that is an issue. Also, the skipping of the nib. Once again, I can fix that. I know, and I will, because I want this pen to be as spectacular a writer as all my other Gravitas pens. But that just shows that, they're human. They're human over there. If 99% of nibs are great, you are occasionally going to get one. And I purchased this pen myself, so like, this isn't like a pen sent out to a reviewer, where they've done all the work and made sure it's the perfect writer. This is a everyday purchase, me buying it online, and that's what I got. And that's okay. I can fix that. I don't mind doing that, but just keep that aware. Be aware of that. Pros. Okay, the metal section, the weight of that, the feel of it in the hand, all that, but also the fact that, as I said, it will stop the section getting stained. If you're feeling, through the nib, you're going to get ink on there, and those micro grooves do require you to just do a little bit of extra work to get the ink out of them, but it's not going to stain the material. I love this material. I showed it, nice and close before, but here's another, look at it. It's just beautiful. The texture of it, or the visual texture of it, is stunning. It's nice and smooth to the touch. It's really wonderful. I like the weight of the pen. I like the size of the pen. The Sentry model is a long-time favorite of mine. This one sits in a very nice place in terms of weight, with a nice heavy, balanced section. I really enjoy that. And when the nib writes well, it writes beautifully. It's wet, it's smooth, it's slightly stubby. It does all the things when it writes well, and with a tiny amount of work, I'm going to make this pen just write like a dream. It's not far off. It's just a little bit of a baby's bottom. Just get rid of that. It's going to be great. So that was the Micarta fountain pen from Gravitas Pens, a brand I make no apologies about how much I love. I love the design. I love the way the pens write. Not perfect, not without its flaws, but they're doing great things, and the company's going from strength to strength. So if you're familiar with this pen or the brand, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. So please like, subscribe, hit the notifications button. If you've got a product you'd like me to look at, or if there's a way you'd like to support the channel, I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.